Trent, and this is Vision Preparedness. Yes, indeedy, folks. It is MAYHEMIC Thursday, and welcome. Good to see everybody. I hope everybody had an amazing day today. Greetings from the wet, rainy, cold, chilly state of Ohio. Give it 15 minutes and the weather will change and we'll go from there. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Billy, good to see you. Whoop Bang's in the building. My man, Dan H. Rabbit, X, NYC, OG Prepper. Good to see you. How are you? Holly, Imes, Teresa, Little Lone Prepper, JBS, PJ. Look at y'all rolling in here. My Renaissance grandma. Y'all better behave because I'll tell grandma and she gonna get you. She gonna pull you to the side, make you behave, and tell you about yourself. So there you go, folks. We got a whole bunch of folks coming in. Hey, y'all, I got some special guests for y'all to talk to tonight. She said, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you are doing well. JD's in the building. Good to see you, bruh. How are you? Billy, how are you? Skull. Scott Hummer's in the place. KP Heathen, good to see you, my brother. Hope you had a great day. Hope you're doing well down there in New Orleans, Louisiana, or wherever parts of Louisiana you may be. Gen X, good to see you. All right, y'all. I got two amazing guests that I'm gonna bring up, and we're gonna do a conclusion of Bugout Weekend 2025. And without further ado, we have with us Half Ready and my brother-in-law Aaron and Caleb and Aaron C. Jr. and somewhere back there, my sister Kat's back there hiding. But the kids are doing the kids thing, so y'all gonna hear them. Y'all gonna have to deal with them, and it is what it is. Gentlemen, good evening. How are you?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Oh, exactly. So OVP, the place to be. I know you're working, bruh, but thank you for listening in. Okay, these two gentlemen participated in the Bugout Weekend, and it was their first time.
Yep.
So we're going to allow y'all to hear their experience. They haven't been tainted. There is no collusion. There is no racketeering. You're going to hear it straight from them because they have no idea what I'm going to ask them. That's right, Love and Life. That's right. That's your camping neighbor right there. Absolutely. So,
Best
gentlemen,
news ever.
exactly. Rabbit, good to see you. Happy Mac, welcome in. Welcome in. He said, let's hear, JBS said, let's hear the dirt. So I will tell y'all this. Aston 85 sent a box so big of freeze-dried goodies that she made, showed up 2 days ago. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all other than they did show up. Cat Lady Nelly, welcome in. So For all of you that were at the Bugout Weekend, you'll understand this when I say this. And I don't know if my brother from another mother's in the chat, but the eagle has flown the coop. Okay? The eagle has flown the coop. Okay? And on its way north to the great state of New Yorkistan. Okay? I'll say it slower. The eagle has flown the coop. If you don't know what it is, don't ask. You'll find out probably Tuesday. So, with that, Blackbird, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. See, somebody got it. Somebody got it. Exactly. Okay. Bugout Weekend 2025. And y'all can fight over who's going to talk, who's going to do what. I don't care. But
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Bingo, you and me both. Yes. This is the last you're going to hear from me about Bugout Weekend 2025, y'all. Okay. It's over and done. We had the most amazing time. And Aaron, this is your first time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell what were your expectations? Let's start there.
This might sound bad, but I actually kind of, well, I'll say it like this: I prepared for the worst, and expected the best, and I was not disappointed.
Okay.
So as you guys watched me come in with all my gear, I heard whispers had too much gear, but that's all right. I used every last bit of it. But it was really good. There was a lot of great people, a great experience. My first time camping, period, ever. This not in like a cushy little cabin at Hockett Hills or anything like that. So it was good to get out in the elements and do some things with my hands and pitch a tent. It was really great, and just actually set up the tent for the first time and kind of set my expectation for the weekend. A lot of the guys came and helped me set up my first tent, both my tents, and get settled in. So I was like, okay, I know I'm amongst good people. It's going to be a good weekend, and it was.
Awesome. Okay. Half ready. What were your expectations?
You know, you're not bringing too much equipment there, and when you have that many youngins, you probably should have brought more, but that's beside the point. I brought too, but look, I expected to meet like-minded people, and my expectations were met. I expected to have conversations um, with people who understood the language that we speak. And I did not expect, because I'm the greatest prepper to ever live, right? I didn't I didn't expect to learn a lot, but I did learn a lot. I learned some really, we talked about old Mutt, simple. Keep it simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
I learned I complicate things a little too much. And with JBS, with Justin, with his talk about planning, um, gave me a chance to reset and think about proper planning, not just planning.
Mm.
If you have a, you're ahead of the game, but proper planning. Uh, so I'm going to restructure my videos and stuff. Thank you, Justin, by the way. But I'm going to restructure some the way I've been doing things. But honestly, man, um, I expected to meet like-minded people, and I met like-minded people, and so refreshing to just, creed, religion, color, nationality, and believe me, the South is a different nation from Ohio, but uh,
Yeah.
it didn't matter. We
Mm-hmm.
we all spoke the language, and ones that didn't speak the language, really wanted to learn what we were talking about. So that was it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Good, 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 good. Yeah, and that's the thing about me. I always learn something.
Yeah,
And it's amazing how people are open minded. Like you said, you're the greatest prepper there ever has been.
you got to have that cocky, band. You got to be a little cocky when you do this.
I understand, and you learn something, and
Yeah,
that's the whole key. My goal for the bug out weekends is that everybody walks away with one thing that they learned.
yeah.
And if that happens, then it was a successful event. Doesn't matter what else happened or the weather or whatever. Um, so let me ask you this. When you guys first arrived and you finally whatever however long you've been driving, you get out of the truck and you see where you're at, now what?
It's flat, very flat. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm a mountain boy. All right,
Hmm.
it is flat, but everywhere's flat when you leave here until you get to the West Coast. But no, um, honestly, was a beautiful park. Um, it was very beautiful, and space was adequate. Parking was great. You found a great venue, and in my mind, because we've been talking about putting on one in North Carolina, and that's a really good venue you got there. You get this crowd much bigger, you're going to need a bigger one,
Yeah.
but no, it was a good venue, and then again, man, I jump out the truck and there's old people and young people and black people and white people and brown people and everybody's grabbing everybody else's stuff and helping them put it up. It
Yeah.
was it was pretty cool, man. I was like, wow, this is a good crowd. You know a good crowd when you hit a good crowd, right?
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, same. Again, the people were great, and the first thing on my mind was I know there's all the check-in and greeting and meet and greet. My wife took care of all the socializing for me this weekend. It was just finding the right spot, and honestly, I just fell in line. There's a nice little loop of tents all around the outside edge. Just guiding right at the end. It's like doesn't matter who I'm next to. It's gonna be my neighbor for the weekend. Uh, but yeah, then just after getting everything set up, just meeting the people and recovering. I think I almost had a heat stroke out there the first day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that first day was hot. It was hot. Yeah. Um, so after you got settled and got your camp set up and you could breathe for a moment, what did y'all do?
well, I talked to Devil Dog because he was right there.
Yeah.
And again, birds of a feather gonna flock together. So I started finding Marines, and there was a few of them there. So it worked out real well for me. I had a pretty good time. But
Yes.
yeah, it was get meeting and greeting, man. And trying to put a name, a face with a name. I mean, I
Hmm.
saw scrolling down there. I can't read it from here because I'm a little far away, but I see y'all scrolling down there. But it was cool to put a. And I was way wrong on some of them, man. Way wrong. But some of them I was spot on, right?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was a lot about uh, hello, and again for me, it was a lot of thank you. You guys
Hmm.
were very supportive of me. I had to thank some people, right? And I had
Hmm.
to thank people out. And
Hmm.
just a pinch disappointed that some folks that I really wanted to hug and to thank you to couldn't make it. So
Right.
I ain't gonna harp on no negative. I just
Yeah.
just a pinch disappointed.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I would agree. Aaron, how about you? Because you was up there. You put up two tents.
Yeah,
Yeah, had to have one for my gear. I think the first thing I did, it took so long to get set up, is that I started cooking.
There
It
you
was
go.
probably around
Yeah.
dinner time. We've been prepping all morning to get down there. Got everything set up. Got the kids settled. Had to endure like 60 on boards, but we
Yeah.
got it all together. And I started cooking and finished up just in time for the welcome. So that was kind of my ease into the whole weekend and everything. But I did get to meet some people in the meantime. I think Shad introduced himself to me, Ohio Valley Preppers. Um, and so, yeah, it was great. I was still it was still surreal for me. So again, this was the first time I'd ever been camping, anything like that. I wasn't sure if anything that I had was going to work, if I had enough. So still a little paranoia at that point in time.
First time
But
you ever went camping?
yeah, like I mean, I've
No.
gone camping before, like in elementary school. We stayed in cabins. It was like,
Yeah.
Well, good deal, man. That's great. You picked a good one for your first camp trip, other than that
Yeah.
little tank of rain you had.
I didn't
Yep.
even feel it. Didn't even
And
feel
and
it.
we'll talk about that because we'll get to the thunderstorm. But I purposely tried to stay away from Aaron and the family because I knew it was their first time camping. So
Oh,
I wanted him to find his groove
yeah.
instead of saying do this, do this, do. I was like, nope. I'm gonna back out and let him find his groove and find his way, and then we'll go from there. But I was checking just to make sure. I'd walked out. Of course, everybody. There was not one person there that I did not stop at and check on them, see if they're okay, see if they needed everything, and that's just me. Um,
Well, that's the Ohio family, brother.
right, we all do. Yes.
Your boys, and thank you, but your boys were on it.
Mm-hmm.
They were on
Mm-hmm. And I knew they would be, so that's why I kind of just, I'm like, okay, y'all can do that, and now I can run around with less hair on fire,
it.
and just go from there. Um, so after we did the welcome, um, and by the way, Eric and Becky loved the video, and Eric was like, "Dude, you did it, and you can go see it. It's in the playlist, and every other video and short I've tried to pull in there that I could find. So make sure y'all check out the playlist, Bugout Weekend 2025, and see everything that went down for those that were there and were not there, because that's why I'm trying to compile everything that everybody did. And right now, between OVP and Rule, yes, Cole, what do you want? What do you want? No, no, sir, not today. You're not stealing my coffee. So between those two, I think they're in a race to see who could do the most videos or shorts or whatever. And it was just absolutely awesome. So thank you everybody that did shoot video. I still have video to edit. I still have video that died because for some reason there was no sound. So I'm like, whatever. So let's talk about the classes. What y'all think of the classes, the spacing, the arrangement, how they went? Um, because I am my worst critic. I'm always hard on myself, and I jumped in a rabbit hole and couldn't get out, and tried to get out. So I just dug a Dakota fire hole and just smoked my way out. So, but anyway, what did you guys think of the classes and the topics that we talked about?
I thought they were actually pretty great. Um, the fire starting class was the one that was most memorable for me. Just all the different ways you can start the fire, um, and all the DIY ways you can do it to save a lot of money too. It was really good. I think the only other class I got to sit in on was the generator class, which is also really good. Started talking a little bit over my head there towards the middle. Uh, but all I know is I need a generator, I need a solar panel, and if you want one, get the Exodus, right? The Exodus 1.
Exeter
So
2400. Yep.
2400 watt. So I mean, they were really good, informative. I wish I could have got to the bug out bag class, but we had to break down because I had to go a little bit early.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that I probably needed to know or wanted to know, I got from the classes I did go to. So it's really good.
Yeah.
Good.
I was a little concerned. I knew we had a lot of time that we had to fill because of the situation. And I was a little concerned at first that we wouldn't have enough content, right? But it it really worked out well
Yeah.
having that much time for everyone to look. We had some folks there that had some trouble getting around, so it was good to have them there, have plenty of time to do what they had to do, plenty of time to go to the bathroom. But again, Scoutmaster for 12 years, not that I learned anything from the fire starting class,
Mm-hmm.
taught that class 100 times, but it was cool to see people who had never started a fire. And look, I'm used to doing it with 12-year-olds. When you see a 40-year-old crank up her first fire, that's pretty cool, man. So,
Yeah.
there was a lot of that was cool. The bug out bag class was informative, not so much what's going in the bag, but
Mm-hmm.
for the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're back on the planning thing, right?
Yeah.
But did enjoy the solar generator class. I I'm a little bit of a generator geek. I've put out a couple of videos on generators. The solar generator thing is new to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool. Well, the tool bag thing. I'm just telling you that was a lightning bolt for me. But
Same here.
again, Aaron, I know, and I kept interrupting you a lot, Vision, on the do the math thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But when you decide on what generator you need, you have to do some math,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But like we were talking about Opus, they eliminate a lot of math for you. They
Mm-hmm.
do, and so don't overthink it, Aaron. That's what I mean, and and yes, we did go in the weeds, but you have to on that particular situation. Uh, Electricity's dangerous, and
Mm-hmm.
to think about it before they dig into stuff like that.
Yep.
So, but
I mean, yeah,
no,
it's important to think about. My wife blew one of the generators before we got started.
okay,
She didn't really blow it,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
she put a lot of load on it and it said, no, not today.
Yeah.
So
you can really damage equipment in your home if you're not up on it. And I strongly suggest, I don't care if you look at my video or not, there are
Mm-hmm.
lots of guys out there who have lots of knowledge about how to generate power for your home with a portable generator. So look at it before you dig in. Look at that information. But even the freeze dried food class, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Um, and I have a lot of freeze dried food, and
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't something I've stopped to think about. It's just getting those calories in my cabinet, right?
Yep.
Nutrient Survival definitely has a good product, probably better than a lot of stuff on the market, and
Mm-hmm.
never stopped to think about what the name was on the bag, right? I just needed the bag.
Right.
And so, again, no, I thought you did a fantastic job, Trent, especially taking that all on yourself. Um, but I offered to help, and I
Yep.
completely understand. It meant a lot to me that you said, "No, look, uh, I want you to absorb this,"
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that. But
Yep.
again, you took a big load on, and again, the Ohio family had your back, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And the same, you offered to help, JBS offered to help, and
agreed.
I said, nope, this is your first time here. I want y'all to enjoy the experience.
Yeah,
Now, allegedly, next year y'all may be tagged to teach some classes, plain and simple. Once you come to one, you're no longer a newbie and
There
you're
you go.
open to fair game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Like
that
see Aaron come in and teach me about generators. I'd love that, man.
Oh, should be a short class.
You look like a smart guy to do the math. Look. I'm from North Carolina. We don't do a whole lot of math there. When you shoot a problem, yeah, you might be in trouble.
No, you
yeah.
guys have changed my life forever. I've been doing math on stuff that has nothing to do with generators now. Just calculate my electric load any way I can bring
Yeah.
that bill down just a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. And you know, that's the whole key. And half ready, you're right. There's math involved. Like I said, if nothing else, go find that appliance and look to see how many watts it produces. And if it has a motor, then it's going to kick on, but it's not going to stay on.
Right.
And as far as the solar generator goes, and I'm going to keep this simple, we're going to move on. You have to look at what the max is. The max that, you know, a lot of opuses, they have what the surge is, the wattage surge. And if the wattage surge is higher than the wattage of the appliance, you're okay.
Right.
Yeah. So with that, um, overall, okay, let's talk about the thunderstorm
Mm.
because the thunderstorm didn't care. Didn't care if you were old, new, whatever. It rolled in and it did its thing. So, what was your take on it, Aaron?
Oh man, it was the storm for me was peaceful. Like I know, but you saw my setup. I had two tents, a canopy,
Mm-hmm.
and just before the storm had come in, we had moved our tents and stuff around because it was already kind of getting wet underneath where we were at. So I'm glad we did that because it probably helped with the wetness that we did acquire during the actual storm. Uh, but we kind of shorted up by moving our canopy over our tent a little bit more. We put away anything that we didn't really need, and we had a little campfire going in there. We were just hanging out, grilling hot dogs, and making s'mores, passing out s'mores. I know Love and Life got a taste of a couple of them.
I had
So
one.
and I was just up for a while. So my family went to sleep, and I was just sitting there while I was storming and hailing a little bit. It was actually really peaceful. And I had to preach the next morning or Sunday
Mm-hmm.
morning, so I was just sitting
Mm-hmm.
there working on my sermon. Like I said, surviving the storm. It did come up a little bit, so it was really good.
Oh, I try to say, dude, there's your sermon right there. So, what was your take on it, half ready?
Well, it was, when the first round come through,
Mm-hmm.
it worked out real good. Me and J Man had a chance to relax. Went in, sat down on the cots. Next thing you know, we're laying down on the cots. Next thing I'm just about to sleep when I hear the wolves howling outside the door. Everybody hooping and hollering.
Yeah.
And we're done, right? So unzip, back out in the world, checking everything out. But I ain't kidding you, man. When that second round come through, that man, I'm like Aaron. I didn't have to preach the next day, but whoo, man, soothing. And man, and again, we're exhausted, man. J Man and I drove 7 hours up there and then set up the camp, cook supper, cook breakfast, been in class all day, and it was best sleep I had in a long time. But man, it was, and of course the next morning I unzip and I look out and Ghost Lincoln's over there.
Mm-hmm.
He waves and I wave and I go to the bathroom and come back and he's standing by my tent and he said, "Oh, how much water did you get in your tent?" I said, "I didn't have any water in my tent." He said, "Well, we were taking bets on how far you and J Man were going to float. There was
Yeah.
about water completely surrounding your tent."
Yep.
I had no idea, not a care in the world. But I asked him, I said, man, you really going to let me float away? He said, oh, we wasn't going to let you float. Stop. We're going to save you, but we want to see how far.
Right.
The
Right.
Ohio family.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, they wouldn't let nothing happen to me.
No, absolutely not.
But no, I was unconcerned. Um, we drove back through London, Kentucky on the way home, and J-Man was looking out the window and seeing the devastation, the tornado that went through there, and
Ooh,
he was visibly upset most of the way home. He was visibly upset,
yeah.
and you know, uh, God not only sheltered us from the storm, but gave us a peace uh, that was shared through the whole camp. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody was afraid.
No.
Uh, I think you felt the presence. Of,
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm.
I.
I
I
did.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I my take. Well, of course, I was doing a live while it was going on, and I was okay. I was more concerned about everybody else, and Ghost and Mad Shad and Wolf Fang were out there making sure everybody was okay, which I appreciate that, guys. Y'all didn't have to, but you did, and thank you. And then after the first round, I came out of my tent, and Rule's over there making popcorn.
yeah,
I was like, okay, we're good. If somebody's out here making popcorn, we're okay.
yeah,
And but again, I went around and checked on everybody to make sure everybody was good. And the second round, um, I Shad was dealing with some water. I said, dude, and I told Ghost the same. I said, both of y'all can bunk in my tent if you need to, because I had no water whatsoever. And then Shad came in late. I mean, I it was I don't know if it was after midnight or what, but we sat there and I made coffee and we partaked of some sweets. Yeah, I said partaked. We partaked of some sweets and had coffee and sat there and just talked till like 3:30 in the morning. And that was he said everybody's good, everybody's okay. I said good. And that's it is what it is. We weathered the storm. And I mean everybody weathered that storm. We had been watching it all day and we put it out there. Okay, y'all need to start, if you need to put stuff away, I do it now because we're getting some thunderstorms tonight. And I took all of my solar generators and put them in my truck and locked them up. But, you know, I had no issues. Nobody really had issues. So that was a good thing. But yeah, we weathered the storm because that's what we do. And for those of y'all that were there as a prepper, as a person that prepares and plans and practices and prays and does whatever, you handled it.
yeah,
Yeah. And we
yeah.
didn't skip a beat. As soon
Not a
as the
big,
rain stopped, everybody came out, started congregating and everything.
yeah,
And that was really cool. Normally, I mean, I like thunderstorms. I'm the guy that thunderstorm, I'm sitting on my front porch watching it.
right.
So, that was good. So we survived that. So let me ask y'all this. Because of, the amount of classes that we had, and then the amount, well, no, let me put it this way. With the shift of the
Yeah,
classes,
right.
and I don't know, something just told me don't rush them, do your thing. especially with the Bugout bag class. Shad came to me and said, quite a few people are asking about this class. And I said, okay, fine, then let's do it. Otherwise, I was going to say, okay, we're good. Everybody can just hang out and breathe. But what did you guys think of the overall spacing and the time of the classes? You know, how long they were, and the general feeling about them. Not the content of the class, but the overall feeling of it, if that makes sense.
I think they were again. I think they were really good. I think part of that was because there was not any pressure to be in attendance. So there's a couple of them I had to skip out on, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
even if I was sitting in on one, if I needed to, take a break and just stretch my legs, get a drink of water or something like that, clear my mind and come back, it wasn't like somebody was shooting looks at me crazy because I was walking around. It was just really relaxed, and I think that was a good overall tone for the weekend. Was just it was come as you are, indulge as you must or as you want, and it just made it more approachable. It wasn't any pressure for me to like kind of live up to some kind of crazy prepper standard, which I know there wasn't anyway. But
Right.
to it was really an environment to experience, to learn, to see, get my feet wet, feel what it's all about. And that was really good for a first timer. And I think I told you that too. In the midst
Mm-hmm.
of it, it was just don't put not having any pressure on people to just be in it and hardcore about it, but just experience it at their pace. It was
Right.
really good.
And that I'm glad you said that, Aaron, because that's exactly what my intent was, for everybody to learn at their pace. So thank you for that. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Half Ready.
they were great. I mean, it again. I was concerned that we didn't have enough,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but it's yes, we had structured learning, but
Mm-hmm.
there was learning going on all around that camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. You and I, Trent, had some excellent conversations. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't just about learning about prep. Um, you're the leader of your group, right? I'm the leader of mine.
Allegedly, I don't know how that happened, but yes, allegedly.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
it was not. I picked up some leadership things from you that I needed, and again, but I picked up things rapping with Devil Dog. I picked up things rapping with, especially Jason, man. That
Yes.
cat carried away, man. He has such a logical mind,
Yep.
and he's super intelligent. He's super funny, and again, when you're the prepper in the world and somebody lays something on you like that, oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute, hold up. Uh, so there were learning going on all around, and had we had more structured, more classes, maybe that don't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
again, yeah, we would say, okay, we're going to start at 10:30, and it was 11:15 before we kicked in, but it felt right.
Yeah.
And it felt right. It felt like the right thing to do.
Yep.
Um, and I admire your going with your intuition, your gut. You were correct. Um, and and I hear you loving life. You guys, man, that
Yes.
was that is one of the coolest couples I've ever
Yes.
met in my life.
Absolutely.
Great people. Great people.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Rita, Chip and Rita, dude, y'all are good people, bud.
Yep.
Uh, I don't care if you are Yankees, you're good people. And but there was a lot of good people there, and
Yeah.
And had we had just class after class after class, we maybe don't get to find out how good of people they are, right?
Yep.
So, tip my hat to you. I think it worked out great, sir.
Thank you. And that is exactly why I did it, because it just kept sticking with me about building relationships. And everybody was like, well, we can do this class and this class, and I can do this, and we can I said, you know what? No, we're going to go with it. We're going to give people time to fellowship and hang out and have conversations.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
fortunately, it worked out. Yeah.
you you went with your gut, and it was the right thing. And look, man, there were times. There were, I said to Trent, he was walking by me. It was dark, almost dark, and Trent was walking by me, and
Yep.
he takes his hat, he takes his cover off, and I see this vein in his temple right here, and he was starting to rub his head, and I looked and I just said, "Hey, bro, breathe." I said, "Breathe," and he stopped. He stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm-hmm.
went, "Thank you, half ready,"
Yep.
and he
Exactly.
breathed, and he took a big breath, and he went,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
"I know you were carrying a load,
Mm-hmm.
and you just you boo."
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Thank you. Yeah, you read it, you saw it, and as soon as I heard that word, I was like, he's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know that again. Everybody's setting up, everybody getting there. It
Mm-hmm.
and you're in charge, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're carrying this load,
Mm-hmm.
and you figured out a way to
Mm-hmm.
unload, and
Yes.
uh, and not only did it work for us, for me, I can't speak for Aaron, but and everybody else in the chat, but it worked for me. It worked for you because again, I know you're tired, but we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that earlier too. But you managed the rest of the weekend without that nervous breakdown that was coming.
Yeah. I was ready to say, you know what, y'all? I'm going to bed. Good night. Oh, y'all, it's that time. The hair I do not have on the back of my neck, and the jingle jangle of my cup, and I'm gonna let y'all listen to the pour.
I hear it.
And if you don't hear that, hear that, and the cup comes back hot and full. Thank you. You doing all right? You getting ready to go to bed? Must be nice. I love you.
AKA toss and turn for
Toss,
2 hours.
toss and turn. That's okay. But you're in the bed. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank
Buenos
you.
noches,
Say
hello.
bye to everybody.
Hola.
Buenos noches.
Gracias.
De nada.
There it is, y'all. Y'all's one of y'all's favorite, as the other one, oh, slowly sneaks out of the room to yeah, he'll be back. And see that, like I told her, she was bent sideways that she couldn't make Bugout Weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, there were tears before I left because she just did not want to miss meeting all of y'all and seeing everybody. And I said, "That's okay. You'll be all right. It's gonna be okay, and there'll be more." And she said, yeah, there better be." So there it is.
there you go.
Yes, but I was always thinking about everybody else. I really never was thinking about myself, other than I'm tired, I need sleep, but got to make sure everything's okay before I close my eyes. And hats off to the Ohio family, because everybody stepped up. And I appreciate y'all, period. And y'all know that. And I've told everybody thank you. There was a moment in time, and I'm gonna say this and move on, that I got into my feelings and moved on. So I'll leave it at that. So what y'all think of the food?
God. That was awesome. Dude, that was awesome. And you know, when you come out of your own pocket,
Yeah,
something like that. Look, I ain't talking about just the food, right? The man shows up with buns and silverware and plates and coleslaw, baked beans. I mean, the man said he's gonna feed us, and he has. Dude, salute.
yeah. And so we're having talks before the Bugout Weekend because I've been in his shoes. The first one we had, I cooked for everybody. I did ribs, I did brisket, did baked beans. Paula did peach cobbler. I mean, we had everything. And I told the COO, I will never do that again. It was a lot.
Yeah,
So I'm like, you sure about this, bruh? I said, I'm just telling you from experience. You don't have to. And he's like, man, I got this and this and that and that. I said, okay, I'm gonna let you deal with it. And Aaron is a cook. He cooks too, so he understands all the preparation that goes into feeding those types of numbers.
It's a lot. Yeah.
well, look, the man told me I'm watching him get it out of his truck. The man, and look, I'm my tent's
Mm-hmm.
a room away from DD's, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting in this chair on my big duff, and he's pulling out this pork, and he says, "It's gonna take 16 hours to cook this much meat." And this Friday night, y'all. Friday night. We ate Saturday night.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, that man, he might have got 2 hours sleep while he was smoking this pork.
yeah,
And then everybody else is doing our thing and sitting in the chair and got him and all the silly stuff we was doing, right?
yeah.
And he's over there making coleslaw and smoking baked beans. And then I turn around, the man ain't even asked me to come up there and carry nothing. He come carried it all down there to us. I was waiting on him to fix my plate. I'm just gonna tell you.
Right, right.
No, seriously though, the man worked hard. Um, everybody did thank him, and I mean, and they meant it.
Yeah.
And I hope that was enough to fill the man's soul because
Mm-hmm.
what he did was an act of servitude. I felt like the man had washed my feet. All right, I'm just,
Right.
you know, but I felt the Devil Dog went above and beyond. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole Ohio family, I felt like that y'all washed my feet, and I, it was I felt very welcome. Um, it ain't enough to say about all you boys, not just Devil Dog, Shad, Dan, Ghost Lincoln, Wolfie, all you guys, man. You guys, uh, Sister Marie, they just good folks, good company, great food.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What was your take on it, Aaron, from yours? Because I know you cooked and you cooked for quantities. So
Well, I didn't get to partake of the food. I was gone by then.
right.
But the effort that I saw going into it, I knew was going to be good. So I hoped you saved me a plate. You got it in your freezer, right?
No, because believe it or not,
No,
uh,
that
my pork butt sat in Brad's cooler. He forgot to give it to me and took it home. So I told him, I
Oh
said,
man.
eat it or freeze it. And that's fine. As
So
long
it
as it doesn't go to waste.
sounds like we need to do this again in the fall so I can actually get a taste test in and give you honest feedback.
I'll let you talk to him about that. Um,
We can
but
tag
but
team. We can
but
tag
that's
team.
between you and
Oh,
him. I'm not getting in it. I did mine, and it was double of what he did, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Um, yeah. But the food was amazing.
It was.
Desserts start coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Holly, Tracy, desserts. And me and OVP are sitting there looking at the chocolate cake. Y'all, just matter of fact, right before we started, I did have a bowl of banana pudding, just to let y'all know, because and the chocolate cake. And then next thing I know, Ghost discovered the chocolate cake while we're all cleaning up and everything. And he put his hands on it and was like, yeah. And that's the last I saw of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Gone. Yeah. But all the pies, and thank you to everybody. And another shout out, I gotta give a thank you to Love and Life and OVP and Mrs. OVP, because they came and they served. I
Yeah.
don't know how many trips y'all made to the store to get ice. I know OVP brought me ice. I know Love and Life brought me buns and ice. And I'm trying to give folks money, and they're like, no. I was
Yeah.
like, how you gonna tell me no? I'm 97 years old. How you gonna tell me no? And they said, no, put it back in your pocket. So thank you, Love and Life. Thank you, OVP and Mrs. OVP. You guys are true servants with the servitude attitude, and I appreciate the help, y'all.
yeah, shout out to Paul too. He was a lifesaver with the ice for me.
Okay, and Paul, that's right, Paul J. Conroy Sr. He was making runs because he every time he moved, he said, Vision, you need anything? I'm getting ready to go do this. And I was like, nope, I'm good. Thank you, Paul. Yes, Paul as well was just doing the things, helping people, and I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. That's a man with a good heart. You're right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a man with-
Absolutely. Yes. Um, it's amazing. Now I will say this, JBS offered to do a ham radio class. I said, you know what, bruh? Because I literally was coming back from the shelter and glanced at his camp setup, and I saw that HF radio and like froze in my tracks. And I was like, dude. And then so he just went on. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, shoot up an antenna. I said, that's what I'm talking about. And they were talking about doing it. I said, dude, you can do a class. And I said, I'll tell everybody. JBS is pulling out his ham radios, and y'all can go down there and listen to him because the man knows what he's doing, number one. And y'all need to hear this because everybody talks about having a ham radio. And the feedback I got was it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So JBS, you may be tapped next year to do a basic ham radio class, and we'll talk, bruh. But yes, and thank you.
He said it wasn't a class. It's not a class, he said.
Right, right.
It, I don't think he approached it as a class. He approached it as, hey, y'all, check this out. And I understood about maybe 3 words of what he said. So I walked away from that going, man, I need to learn that language.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, Justin left me, I left thinking a lot about what Justin said. and how he carried himself. I left thinking a lot about that.
And speaking of, there's my mentor, one of them, Old Mutt himself. He said, correction officer for 25 years. I don't like people, but the Ohio Prepper Group was better than real family. And Old Mutt, that means a lot to me coming from you, because not only have we broke bread and shook hands, but you have given me invaluable information and the subtle things. And I'm gonna put it out there. And I was asking Old Mutt about, solar panels and solar generators, and because I watch him on Instagram and in Hudson Valley's Facebook group, and he made one thing to me that was the complete game changer for me. He said, "Do you have a toolkit for your solar panels?" Right. I was
Lightning,
like, "What?"
lightning.
Lightning. It was a bolt of lightning, and I was like,
Yep.
"You're absolutely right." So, he said a few things, and I literally Amazon start looking, and I was like, "Well, there it is." And I start ordering stuff and put my toolkit bag together, and
Yep.
I was like, I would have died on that hill because I never thought about it.
And I don't know why. We have a toolkit for everything else.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't
We
know
got
why.
tools and everything else. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And Old Mutt, thank you. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm gonna say this. When you meet Old Mutt, especially at a Bugout Weekend, you'll know Old Mutt when he pulls up. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because when I saw him pull up at the very first one, my mouth dropped to the ground. And from there, I was to the point where I thought I felt like I was bugging him because I was asking so many questions, but he was just as gracious and willing to teach and explain and show. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And like we said earlier, he keeps it so simple and basic. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Old Mutt, hats off to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family is amazing. And, you know, thank you. Hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Yeah. Now, y'all can't use that until you meet him, or you're going to get hit with $120,000 copyright
That's what
fine.
I've been told.
Yeah. You can't use it. Hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Yeah. But anyway, what time? Oh my gosh, it's going on 9 o'clock. Wow. So give me y'all's overall impression, wrap up. Will you come back again? Maybe not. You're thinking about maybe doing something um in your neck of the woods, or what?
Definitely thinking about doing something different. And man's excited about it. The other guys might be excited about it, but look, look, look for information coming up on Half Ready Rendezvous. And it and look, y'all in for a treat just coming to my neck of the woods anyway. But
Yeah.
but
I,
I'm
I'm
I'm I'm wanting to have it in the summertime because in the mountains it'll be all
yeah. And whenever, if you do it this year, I'll come to the Kakalakis.
right. Probably next summer.
That's
Uh,
fine.
well, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of logistics involved.
Absolutely.
A
Yes.
lot. And again, man, I would love to have the Ohio family here. I will put pressure on you about that. but I want you to come to North Carolina and get to absorb what we got, right? So I got to get my group in you
Yeah.
to lay down what they know. And I got some good folks down here too. Now, don't get me wrong, I got some good folks.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
got
And
some,
I'll come. You have it, I will show up.
I know you will. And,
And I'll bring a caravan down there from the great state of Ohio.
well, I'd like to see the New Yorker standers show up too. That'd be great. But again, Mike ain't gonna be so impressed because where he lives a lot like where I live. It's very similar to the Blue Ridge. So
Right.
very similar, but I would love y'all to come. I know Love and Life talking about coming down in the fall. They want to see what happened down here during Helene, and I hope they do because my wife and I and J Man and his wife would love to show them our neck of the woods. But I want to lay down. I've got some guys that got some good knowledge, but look, I'll be back. I'll be back next spring to the Ohio Bugout Weekend. It was I enjoyed it. I learned something, um, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much progress Aaron makes between now and then too.
Yes.
Hopefully, it's a lot. This was
Yeah.
great. Like, again, I don't have the words to express how full I was after the weekend. But this was the one thing that I wanted to do, which I was grateful you mentioned this earlier, Trent, that I wanted to come in and test my skills, see where I was at, see how adapted I was. And pleasant surprise, my family loved it. Like my kids were asking when we got back, when's the next time we're going camping? Next time we're going fishing. My wife got back in touch with her Alabama roots, so now she's happy to go outside again. So, I'll definitely be at the next event. I'll come down to where you're at, half ready too. I'm ready to go across the country. I didn't even think about going to camp anywhere else, but wherever I can lay my tent, let's go. I'm excited to do some more.
See,
Um,
exactly. And folks, so I've been planting seeds with Aaron and for about the last year. And, planting seeds and just talking about this and talking about certain events, that's going to leave a mark. And
eggs on the floor. That's like $500.
just talking to him about different stuff, you know, and the things that our pastor teaches at church, everything just lines up. And I was like, dude, you got to come to the Bugout Weekend. And then I start planting seeds in my sister's head. I'm like, you got to get on board. You got to let your husband do what he's supposed to do and get on board and deal. And I am so happy for y'all that after the thunderstorm, the second one, I went down there, or the first one, and the boys are sitting back there in the tent laughing and watching movies. I said, see, that's what it's all about right there. Yeah. So only thing I can say to everybody that attended, thank you. Those that registered and couldn't come, I get it. Life happens, but there'll be more.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we went live. Half ready was like, yeah, no, October's too soon to be asking him now about October because, like he said, Bugout Weekend in October. As of today, no. Let me decompress. I'm still decompressing. I still got stuff in my truck. I still got stuff that I just threw in the barn, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And still haven't had a recap with the Ohio family. Because we do that. What went well? What didn't go well? What could we do better? What should we do next year rather? And stuff like that to give you guys even a better experience. That's always my goal. Every year it gets better.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say this to you though, Aaron. my son became an Eagle Scout. I was his scoutmaster, and my son's 32 years old now, 34 years old. Anyway, he and I, when we sit and we talk, we tell these stories that happen over a campfire. These stories that happen outdoors. I'm, my son and I are like this. Your sons and you will be like this. Get outdoors. It when you take the world out of the equation and you put yourself in God's creation, it's it's magic. It's magic, and you'll be glad when you're laying there with your chest cut open and your son grabs your hand, and you know you have that kind of relationship with your children. It happens over a campfire, brother.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And real quick, I'm gonna hit this, then we're gonna get out of here.
Amen.
Folks, for those of you that didn't attend, if and you did, you missed the fireside chat.
Mm.
It was fire.
It was.
It was plain flat out just people of all races, religions, and creeds and locations coming together and just had a conversation about everything. And hats off to PAEMT
Yeah.
who came, who rode in at dinner time, stayed for the fireside chat. I think he took a nap in the parking lot and then he went home. And
Yep.
that's exactly, he said, I want to come for the fireside chat and hang out with you guys and then get back home. I said, sure. And that's exactly what he did. But I appreciate all of y'all tonight because y'all are awesome. I want to thank Half Ready and Aaron being their first. They're no longer newbies. And all of y'all, this was your first one. You're not newbies anymore. So y'all are part of the Ohio Bugout Weekend. You made it. You survived. And I appreciate y'all. And we look forward to many more.
Amen.
Now,
Yes.
yeah. I can't promise anything in October, but I'll have a long conversation with the COO, and she gets the final say, and I'm gonna leave it at that because she's the COO, and of course Cole. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out, buddy. Oh yes, see, this is the one that has to have the last word. Would you say? That's what I thought. Yeah. And see, he just gruffed. Y'all may not have heard, but he has to always have the last word, and it cracks me up because he thinks he's me, but he's not. But other than that, folks, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And remember this: keep on prepping because your family depends on you, and it depends on your life. God bless everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we will see you in the next video. God bless and good night.
Good night.
The time is now.